something that I want to bring up now that we're on this topic is, how do people decide to spend a certain amount? Like, I guess you could say, how do people decide how much to invest in their landscaping projects? And before you answer that,
welcome to the Landscape Cafe, brought to you with support from Fort Myers Garden Service, maintaining and protecting business and residential landscapes. Visit fortmyersgardenservice.com or call 239-990-7494.
it boggles me, the conversation we just had with how much your outdoor space, I'm not going to even just use the word landscape, your outdoor space, whether it's beautiful ornamental landscaping, whether it's the permaculture practices landscape where you're growing food or having some basic livestock, like maybe some chickens, or it's more of like a field style with a playground set back there. Those all three are so underrated, and it is unbelievable how much time that can be spent out there, and all the intentional time that can be out there. I'm just kind of teeing it up for you, Sid. It is crazy. Those spaces are crazy valuable depending on how you decide to use them. But I'll come back to the question. Sid, how do people decide how much to invest in their landscape projects?
That is a great question. Many years ago, when I learned landscape design, that was in the 70s.
Okay.
The rule of thumb then was about 10% of the value of the home, but nobody did that. Mm-hmm. They didn't even do 5%, But wow. As a person That's learning bad. To landscape design and propose a landscape project for somebody, 10% was the number that was floated around, even though it never happened. And so, but today I think people are more attuned in to that space and what it can do for them and the impact of it. And the return on financial investment is a big thing now too. Making a home more valuable when it sells and helping it to sell faster, that like landscaping will do. The general knowledge about the value of landscaping is higher, but we still have a long ways to go. So having said all that, in the neighborhood of 5 to 10% of the value of the home is still a great number. But really what's more important is, what is the value of it to the person? Right. And some people, for example, will spend, I know you've told me a couple stories where someone was investing 50% of the value of the home in the landscape.
I actually have a customer right now that's actually spending, they got this beautiful cottage style house for $220,000 right in downtown Bonita area, right in a really cool spot. And I think it's maybe an acre. Yeah, probably an acre. And their budget for the landscaping is about $230,000 for their out. And it's not just, some plants, some palm trees. I'm talking, you got some hardscape areas, you got just really, really cool areas with some fountains. And so theirs is more than 100% of their house. And a lot of our clients, because we're very custom, is usually around the 30% range is what we're seeing for most of our kind of regular customers right now, which is phenomenal compared to other parts of the country.
Right on. Well, that's exactly what I'm talking about. The perceived value now went way up because we're looking beyond the walls of the house to the living spaces being different. So, once you've got a nice updated kitchen, a nice updated bath, maybe an ensuite master bedroom, those kind of things, you don't really value a living room that has pretty furniture in that nobody ever walks through or sits in. So instead, what you really want is a place you'll use, like that patio with the fire pit space and the outdoor dining area and the pergola. And, these are all spaces you can see that you're going to use all the time. So investing money in your lifestyle. Yeah. Yeah, year round in Florida. But even with, a lanai or a screen porch or a four-season porch in the north, you can enjoy it and be part of it and not be cooped up inside, stuck to the seat in the family room where the TV is. Yeah. So that value has, it's called elasticity. The elasticity of value of the landscape has increased so much. It's just off the charts. The value of a lawn, America's kind of famous for these expansive lawns, has gone down, but the value of those other spaces has gone up. And I think that's really, a great trade-off. A lawn that nobody walks on except for to mow it, water it, and fertilize it, compared to a patio area that you're going to sit out there and enjoy the part of the lawn that you do walk on to mow it and fertilize it. Not taking away any space for kids to play and play ball or play catch or whatever it might be. Certainly those spaces are used. But, another great thing about landscaping and the current stage where we are in life is having it be one thing when your kids are really little, like yourself. So, when I was there a few days ago, your new baby was being held by her mom outside on the patio on some really nice comfy furniture, and she was just so at peace.
Right.
She meaning both of them.
Yeah.
The baby and mom both are just so much at peace there. And while I was hearing one thing saying that the baby was a little bit colicky, what I'm observing is there for an hour and a half or two, absolute peace. Not a peep out of her. So it was amazing that how she was responding to being outdoors. But that's going to transition as she grows. And now, next thing coming up, you're going to want to be showing her how to grow vegetables and teaching her, using those teaching moments, and a place to play, something to play on will be part of it. And then before you know it, again, you're going to blink and turn around, and then it's going to be the fire pit for a place for her to hang out with her kid or her friends.
Right.
And flipping all the way there to the teenage years where your number one goal is that they'll hang out with their friends at your house instead of somewhere where you don't know where they are.
Right.
Or you're just not there to enjoy it. So that change of the use of the landscape over a period of time is now the way we look at it, as opposed to something that's picture perfect postcard view that stays the same for decades, until we move. So I think that's an exciting dimension.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great point. And truly, as a father and seeing that little baby, as soon as she came out of the womb, all that love that you have for her, but to see her, she's a little colicky. And so if people don't know what that is, I don't fully understand it, but long story short, I know her tummy hurts and she's got a very sensitive tummy and she cries quite often when she's uneasy and her stomach hurts. And it's amazing when we go outside and my wife brings her, sits her underneath the patio. So we have a little pergola that we have, and then some nice outdoor furniture that's comfortable. Sometimes she'll move the chair out so when the sun is not so hot and direct, if there's a little bit of overcast, she'll bring her out from underneath the pergola and get a little bit of sun. And even underneath the pergola, it's just the warmth and the heat and the environment of being outdoors, the fresh air. I mean, she just chills. A lot of times she'll just fall right asleep because she'll be so comfortable, and she's been previously crying and screaming because her tummy's been hurt. The outdoors is powerful. I mean, we are so busy with everything that's going on in our lives. We don't take the time to recognize the health benefits, the mental, psychological benefits that we can get from being outside. And what a testament it is, my baby who's 6-7 weeks old. comes outside and she just becomes completely at peace. I mean, she can't even speak, but her body language, how she acts, how she reacts, just alone is incredible. Reacts to that, and I hear her whining a little bit in the background. Sounds like she just woke up. Can't wait to go out there and see her. But she's amazing, and for my kid and for my future kids, it is very important to me that I invest in my landscaping and my outdoor spaces, so that they can enjoy it and they can have a good time. At the end of the day, our motto for Pure Landscaping is serving families through designing and building outdoor spaces. And not only do we get to serve our own individual families by going to work, working hard, bringing home some money for the family for food, rent, groceries, mortgage, whatever, we also serve the families that we design and build for as well. So that's something we are super passionate about, is creating those relationships and giving the opportunity for other families to enjoy the passion and the little niche of this world that we've stumbled on, and kind of bring light to what it can be. That's the whole reason for this podcast here, is for people to be able to understand how important our landscaping is and how it can literally save their psychological minds and physical. There's a lot of the good physical benefits of being outside, walking around, and not sitting in a chair all day as well. Yeah, that was very, very good, Sid. Any other ideas or thoughts that you want to share on this topic before we wrap it up?
But just one little tag on to that. So, here we started talking, and it was, daybreak. So we're morning guys. So we're, ready, up before dawn and ready to go, and just kind of waiting with anticipation for that to happen. But then here's this little baby that, doesn't even know what the difference between night and dark really is exactly. And yet does internally, because there's that internal mechanism. And so the sun comes up, and even she, wakes up with that and wants to go outside. So that's what she's crying about. She's not hungry. She just wants to go outside.
Right. Go outside and play. So, just like Daddy wants to.
Yes. Right.
I love it.
Yeah. So this is the stuff that life is really made of, these moments that we enjoy and create, as opposed to just let the time tick away and let the urgency of work and the other things that we do have to do tend to drive everything, as opposed to allowing that time and space of being in nature and enjoying each other at the same time together. Really is what life is made of. It's that stuff is what we want. So what your mission is for in helping families, I think is so cool. I mean, I've read, as many people have, hundreds of mission statements, and you see them in plaques on the wall in stores and restaurants and other businesses. And you just know that, okay, they spent a couple of days probably trying to come up with those words, but they don't really even feel it. And they don't really know what it means. And I've never seen one before that said anything about family other than the family that owns the business. Right. It's not about their customers' families. So I commend you for coming up with that. I'd love to hear the story, if not now, sometime, of how you came up with that particular piece of it, because it is brilliant. And it's such a mission for what you're doing and now and will be doing in the future to stay on track, and getting your crew, your staff and employees to think that way about what they're doing, what a fulfilled life they're going to have, as well as taking customers who may only believe that landscaping is something to look at, and showing them the other dimension of it, what it's really about. So
absolutely,
I commend you for all that.
Thank you. Actually, I will share the story because we got a few minutes left here. So we were going through a growth point, and this is a story on how we came up with our motto, our tagline. We were going through this past year at first, I'll share a funny story as a very young business. So my last name is Peer. Company is Peer Landscaping. Peer is also another word for, friend, colleague, or friend. And we were your friendly landscaper. So that was our tagline that I started off with, very weak, and just a little bit of humor behind that. But I realized, we need something real. We need something that is in our hearts. And I was going through this past year a really challenging time. We hired a lot of staff. We were getting jobs like crazy. The market was blowing up. And I was so stressed out, dealing with employee problems, and growing with problems, or having problems of growing too fast, and just not having enough time for rest and coming close on burnout. There was a lot going on there. And I was like, you know what? I don't even care about the money anymore. Like, obviously I had to be focused to make sure we were making a profit. So then in return, we can invest back in the business to keep things going. But I was like, the only reason that I'm going to keep pushing through this stressful part is if we're creating a bigger difference, and if we're doing something that God's called us to. And in His Word, it talks about taking care of your flock. So we're the shepherds, and we got to take care of our flock, take care of our sheep, take care of our people. And I was like, you know what? We're going to serve our families. That's what it's going to be about. Yes, we're going to make money, but at the end of the day, we're going to serve our families. We pay our guys way more than any other competition does. And we're working on getting health insurance for the guys, and doing a lot of things that are above and beyond. And our customers sometimes are like, oh, your prices can be a little bit expensive sometimes. I'm like, yep, we're doing things a lot different. We're serving our families. But long story short, my wife and I decided that we are going to serve the families of the people that are working with, that are working for us and helping our customers. And then we kept thinking and talking and brainstorming. We were like, you know what? I don't want to just build basic landscapes. There's so many people out there. I'll throw in a palm tree, throw in a couple cute plants, call it a day. I want to build outdoor spaces, and I want it to be able to. We had a great customer going on at that time where we were doing this big $90,000 renovation, where they got fire pit, a beach sand area, beautiful palm trees around it, a gorgeous flagstone walkway with a hammock area, beautiful landscaping around the pool. I was like, I want to be able to help families enjoy their time outdoors. I want to really serve them. And so the tagline, serving families through designing and building outdoor spaces, at first means serving the families that come to work with us. And then second, means serving the families that the homes we're working on and designing and building. And so that all kind of came to fruition. And it's helped the direction of our business. Who do we market towards? Having certain amount of minimums of job, like our starting point for a project right now. This changes as we go. So if you're listening to this podcast a long time from now, it'll change probably. But right now, our starting point for a project is about $12,000. And we decided that because we don't want to throw some cute plants in and run to 4 other jobs in that day or in that week. We try to spend, at least 2 to 3 days, if not a month, at each customer's property. And so that's the big picture of how that all came to fruition. I don't think I left anything out of that story, but yeah.
Great story. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, for sure. And so that's what we're passionate about. We love people. We love landscaping. We love outdoor spaces. And our goal is to, do what we are called to do and serve. So I appreciate you being on the show today, Sid. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, but we have all your information that we will put in the link if anybody else wants to reach out to you, maybe get some coaching or just have a conversation with you or pick your brain. Sid has a ton of expertise in the landscape industry, and he's a phenomenal mentor of mine, and I definitely hold him to a high regard. So thank you so much, Sid, for talking with us today, and have a great day.
Thank you, Bailey.
Bye now.
Bye.
Cool. Awesome. How do you think that went?
Great. Perfect timing because Teresa just opened the door and the dog ran out.
There you
And
go.
the dog ran in.
That's awesome. Hey,
Yeah.
thanks for asking me about the how we came up with that motto. That was a great tee up. I think I've actually never shared that story before, and there's no better place no better place to share it than on here. I think I might have rambled on a little bit with it, but
no, it was really good. I was thinking that you should transcribe that and then clean it up and keep that sort of like a one-page our story kind of thing. Go great in the green box.
Yes,
because that really says a lot. It really does. That's inspired for sure. So
awesome.
The dual meaning of it. If you have to kind of think about that, but it's definitely worth pointing out.
That's awesome. That is sweet.
Yeah. So, do you have a couple minutes?
Yep, I do.
Okay. Just a check-in. Since we met the other day, how'd the minivan thing go?
The minivan thing. I'm trying to remember where we left off.
You were renting a minivan. Your first rental car is a minivan.
Oh yeah. Actually,
excited about it.
Yeah. I actually, on my way to the minivan, 5 minutes before my reservation, 10 minutes before my reservation, I got a call from my mechanic saying my big truck was ready, and I was like, okay. And so what I did is I called them and I said, hey, something came up. We're not going to need the van. And I was expecting they're going to say, hey, we're still going to charge you full price anyways, but they canceled it, so I didn't have to pay anything for the minivan. So I went and picked up my truck, and then traffic was so bad I didn't have time to go back home. So I went, and you're talking about the interview, how'd that go, right? Because I was picking up the minivan.
I didn't know. I didn't know about an interview, I don't think.
Okay, so basically I was picking up the van through one of Dave Ramsey's book, The Entree Leader. He mentions one of the final interviews to take out the spouse and the kids.
Yeah.
And
right.
And so
that part,
So I did that, and they don't have a vehicle right now. They're working on saving some money and transition between things. And so I picked them up and brought them to dinner with Katie and McKinley, and ended up being a phenomenal. It was a casual conversation. I wanted it to be that way, so that way they could let their guard down. And so if they're crazy, we hopefully see it. And
right.
They seemed very well put together. So it was a great meal, great conversation. And it was the one who had some priors but hadn't had anything in the last 4 or 5 years. And and so seemed like he also had a 9-month-old and then another baby on the way. He was definitely very, very interested to get in with us. And he'd called us a bunch of times previously, but I told him we weren't hiring at that time. Then he found one of my guys when he was doing one of the Aldi's grocery stores he was working with a landscape company providing service to Aldi's. And then he saw Eric in the truck, and he was like, hey, please, can you get me an interview with this company? I'd love to work for you guys. And finally, Eric weaseled we got him in for a couple about 4 or 5 interviews, and ended up hiring. So ended up being a good,
great.
Kind of a good story.
Yeah. Okay. Well, congratulations. That's a great story. He actually wants to work there, and it's not just taking a job. So
he seeked it. He seeked it out.
Sounds like he's being intentional about getting his family together and everything. So
very, very much so. And then he also shared a lot of the same thoughts and ideas about being able to grow their own food and stuff like that. Was passionate about it. And I was cool, but I thought that was really cool. And so,
is he going to be able to get to work?
Yes. So he said he will ride his bike up to 10 miles to and from work every day. And I think the shop's probably 4 or 5 miles. And he's very in fantastic shape, young guy. And so he's been doing that, riding his bike to and from work. So he's been doing good about that, he says.
Yeah.
So,
Does he have a license? He's able.
Yeah, he does have a license.
He's able to drive. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, that'd be okay. So thanks for filling me in on both of those things.
Yeah.
I knew about the interview. I knew about the minivan. I didn't know how they fit together. I just didn't really pull that together from hearing about the two things. I thought you were heading out of town to Tennessee or something.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. That's funny.
Next time.
Yeah. Next time we'll go take a little vacation. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So you got your you had one of the trucks being wrapped last week as well, I think. So, yeah.
Oh yeah, that came out phenomenal. Came out awesome. It was It was actually, that was the truck that they called me and said it was ready from the wrap shop. They got it done early, and so I got to pull up in that thing that was looking sweet. So I was like, yes.
Oh wow. Yeah. So it was the blue 4-door.
Yes, the blue 4-door, my baby.
Okay. Oh, I can't wait to see that. You guys send me a picture.
Oh yeah, I got the pictures. I'll send them over to you. It looks it looks pretty darn sweet. That's for sure.
That concludes our conversation and this series. Don't forget to subscribe for alerts. You're going to love our upcoming guests. The Landscape Cafe is a production of Pure Landscaping and the Niche Podcast Network. Learn more about Bailey, Katie, and the team by visiting purelandscaping.com. You can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts. And don't forget, the best place to rate or follow the show is at thelandscapecafe.com.